maybe there is hope for Genshin Impact on Steam Deck. While the game is still technically not on Steam, the fact of the matter is it's easier to download and set up than ever, especially now that Linux players can play the game without any risk of being banned anymore. Running Genshin Impact on Steam Deck was always risky business. You had to use a patch that essentially patched out the anti-cheat, and while I haven't heard of anyone getting banned from Genshin Impact for just using the patch, there used to always be a risk that you could, maybe one day, get banned. You know, cause it technically goes against Genshin Impact's TOS, but not anymore. MiHoYo, or rather HoYoverse, is no longer blocking Linux users, at least for Genshin Impact. And HoYoverse is even giving away a Steam Deck in preparation for their new game, Zenless Zone Zero. Surely they won't give away hardware that isn't compatible with their game, right? Whatever, it's irrelevant. Let's talk about getting Genshin Impact to work on your Steam Deck. A lot of people will tell you to run the Genshin Impact installer through Steam, through Proton, install it that way, and then redirect it to the actual launcher that lives within the Proton prefix, and a lot of that just is a pain in the butt. I think the easiest way to set up Genshin Impact on your Steam Deck is to use a launcher known as an anime game launcher. It's essentially a third-party Genshin Impact launcher made explicitly for Linux. By default, you won't be able to find this in the Discover app, but if you add the repo for the launcher, you'll be able to find that and the other launchers for the other MiHoYo games, like Honkai Star Rail. So first, you'll want to navigate to the GitHub page for the anime game launcher, click on their wiki page, and then click on installation instructions, and you'll get all the instructions you need there. So the easiest way to do this would be to copy and paste things into the terminal, but I know some people aren't comfortable with using the terminal, so we're gonna provide an alternative method. On the Discover app, press Settings, and then you'll see the option to add repos. Copy this URL right here. You'll be able to add this to the Discover app manually. And once you copy it, press Add Source, and then copy that link over right there. It's a lot easier if you have a keyboard. And now it's been successfully added. Now all you have to do is go into the Discover app and then search for an anime game launcher. This is the icon you want, but we're just gonna go ahead and press install. The installation process will take a bit. Once it's installed, go ahead and launch it from desktop. There's still some setup that needs to be done. So the installation process is very straightforward, but this screen is very important. This gives you the ability to change your directories for all of your things, including options for changing directories for things like runners and DXVKs, which I wouldn't recommend if you're a beginner. So if you want to install Genshin on your SSD, just leave the default launcher folder the way it was before. If you want to install Genshin on an SD card, press launcher folder and then go select your SD card. It should be a device named primary. This is of course assuming you formatted your SD card within your Steam Deck like you should have. So we're gonna make a separate folder for all of this to keep everything out of the way. We're gonna make one called Games to store all of our, non-Steam games. And then we're gonna make a folder in here called Genshin Impact. There's some weird snafu where if you press pick folder, it won't pick the Genshin Impact folder, so you will have to go back into the games folder and then click Genshin Impact and then click pick folder. Now the game should be entirely contained within your SD card. Here you can select your voice packs. English is checked by default, but if you want to be the real anime connoisseur, you're probably going to pick Japanese because I know you. But if you want a real hot take, I install all of the language packs because I can. It'll also ask you what version of Wine and DXVK you want to install. By default, the latest versions should be selected, so just keep the default settings. Press download and the launcher will set up Wine GE and DXVK. This process may take a bit. So as you can see here, once it finishes up, you'll see the next screen. Everything is done. So now you'll want to press restart to start everything over. So this is it. This is the anime game launcher. So as you can see here, there's a lot of advanced settings. You can change the appearance. You can have it look more like an actual Genshin launcher or have it look more like a Linux application. You can also change the language of the launcher. You can change what version of the game you're playing, whether you're playing global or, the Chinese version of Genshin. You can also change the game environment from PC to Android. You can also change game voiceovers in case you don't want all the languages anymore. You can even change where the game is installed. You can repair the game. You can also change how the launcher behaves. You can change wine tools. There's a lot of different settings you can change. Furthermore, there are some enhancements as well, though I would visit the wiki to get more information on all of these settings. So now we actually have to download Genshin itself. press download, and then it'll begin downloading all of the game files. This process will take a while. If your download gets stuck, exit the launcher and launch it again and press download again. It'll save your progress from earlier as well. So once Genshin Impact is done installing, you can launch the game right now. In fact, it would be better if you did so that you could, log in and all that stuff. Logging in or even registering for Genshin Impact is pretty self-explanatory, so I don't have to discuss that. And yes, it'll download resources once again, but it won't take long. Wow, you can really see here that I hardly play the game these days. So yes, as you can see here, Genshin Impact works perfectly fine. But this is in desktop mode. How do I get it working in game mode? Well, I'll show you. First, while in desktop mode, add an anime game launcher as a non-Steam game. You can either do so in Steam itself by pressing the plus button and press add non-Steam game and selecting it and adding it, or in the desktop mode, go to the start menu, find an anime game launcher, right click it and press add to Steam. An anime game launcher should show up in your Steam library as an anime game launcher. Yes, like with most other non-Steam games, it shows up without any sort of library art or anything of the sort. Heck, it doesn't even have the name of the game here. You can change the name of the game by pressing the cogwheel and then go into properties and then see an anime game launcher there, change the name of it to Genshin Impact or whatever, and it'll show up in game mode. As you can see here, I'm in game mode right now, and everything works. Even the launcher part works too, so you can change all of your settings here. All the tweaks, all of the stuff, all of that is accessible right from game mode right here. I can even change what the UI looks like. Pretty cool, eh? So as you can see here, the game works just fine. Yeah, the game is rendered at 720p as opposed to 800p, but that's because of my capture card. So yes, now that we're set, now we can launch the game. Though there is a bit of a hang up, you have to access the Paimon menu, and you would usually need to hold the Alt key down to do that. As you can see here, I've set the trackpad to be both the mouse and the Alt key so that whenever you're touching the trackpad, it just moves the cursor, it doesn't move your character or anything like that. From here, you'll need to go into settings. While in settings, you'll need to change the control type from keyboard to controller. After you do this, it's good to go, you're ready to play. Now as per tradition, I usually summon 10 characters because I get enough primo gems to summon because I don't play the game for long stretches of time. Bad rolls once again. I gotta say man, Genshin is absolutely brutal when it comes to the gacha rates. If you like this video, please press the like button and check out our other videos, and if you like those other videos as well, be sure to press the subscribe button and share the good gospel of high-tech lowlife with your friends. Furthermore, we have a community Discord for enlightened individuals such as you. And if you wish to further support high-tech lowlife, be sure to check out our Patreon page. Links in the description.